over and talk to a gentleman who has a Buick with an issue. Welcome to the CNC Auto Show, and what can we help you with?
Hi, my name is John. I have a 2003 Buick Rendezvous that's actually sitting at the mechanic shop for 4 months now.
Mm-hmm.
He's been struggling trying to figure out what was wrong with it. It died on the road when my wife was driving it. When I visited him last week, he was thinking that it has to do with an erratic voltage going to the map sensor. And I was wanting your opinion about that. I had given him an upper wire harness that I had purchased years ago, thinking that maybe there's a short somewhere. And I'm just not sure if he knows what he's doing, and I definitely don't know what to do. So could you help me with that, maybe?
Yeah, let me just be sure now. You did say 4 months. We're lucky if we go 3 days. People have a fit.
Right.
Okay. Well, you are very patient, and I think you're a. Huh?
Who knew it would progress to 4 months? I mean, that's just the way it goes, you know. My wife didn't need the car to go to work, so it was kind of at his disposal.
Yeah.
And I wanted to give him the opportunity.
Well, because of that, we're going to try extra hard to give you some ideas to share with this person of things that might be to check. Taylor, what are your thoughts on this?
Okay, so on this vehicle, I mean, this is a pretty common vehicle. You know, it uses the same platform on a lot of different models of vehicles that GM makes. If he's, thinking it may be map sensor related. So are you familiar with what a map sensor does?
Yes.
Okay.
And I also know that he said he replaced the map sensor and it didn't change anything. That's why he's going towards the electric angle now.
So it should be a pretty easy procedure to see if you're getting the correct voltage in and out of that. And this is why electrical is so important nowadays with vehicles. The map sensor should be a 3-wire sensor. So you have a 5-volt reference going in, and you have a ground, and both of those are supplied by the engine control module. And then the map sensor makes a calculation. It sends a signal out to the ECM, and that kind of judges the load of the engine. So, you could have an ECM problem, but this would be something fairly easy to check to see if you're getting that 5-volt to the sensor and the ground to the sensor, and then just checking the signal coming out of the sensor and see if that corresponds with engine load. As far as, if the car's not running at all, even with a unplugged map sensor, the other sensors in the car will send enough information to the ECM to where you should be at least able to crank and drive the car if it may not drive well. But I don't really see something like that maybe causing the car to completely not run at all.
Because it's funny, because a week ago I saw the car out of his garage, because it's a guy that's been in business for 30 years, and he has just a small operation. So he's got like 1-bay garage. I saw it outside, and I went over there and I said, "Oh, great, you got it going?" He says, "I had it going good, and then all of a sudden I touched something and it started running rough again."
Right.
And he said, "I can't, I got to figure this out." But I'm thinking to myself, it has to be electrical at this point, because that ultimate word, I touched something and it went wrong.
Right.
It seems to me like there's a bad wire somewhere.
With modern cars, any problem with the electrical system whatsoever, even a bad battery or an alternator or something like that can cause the engine control module to act up and the car run just horribly. Definitely I would just go back to the basics on this car.
Yeah, I'm going to mention one thing that I normally don't mention that much, because I don't mind telling, there's so many absolutely wonderful technicians out there, and I'm sure this person is an absolutely wonderful a wonderful person, wonderful technicians in some areas, but there's certain basics that need to be checked.
Right.
Like he mentioned, a map sensor is not going to cause the car not to be able to drive. There's backup systems on the car to where if the computer sees a faulty reading from a map sensor, it'll calculate the numbers to use in a different way, so you'll at least get home We call it. I mean, before it did that, you would go into the tennis shoe mode. Now you go into a backup mode or a limp home mode, to where you can sit the check engine light to be on. It might not get the same gas mileage, but you would go home. You've got some problems there that are going to need someone with some certain diagnostic skills. And it may be that he's just very, very busy with other cars and not having the time to devote to that one. But I believe I would consider taking that somewhere where they're able to run the right testing on there. Because if we're not sure after 4 months, I think it may be a good idea. And that's not saying anything at all bad about the person. I'm sure he's good. And he might get some relief if you were to say him do that.
Never tell a shop that take your time, because we will.
Let me ask you a question then.
Uh-huh.
If I'm going out there to look for someone else, let's say, is there something I should ask them as far as credentials go? Like, I mean, I know some people maybe are skilled at the body work, and some people are more skilled at the suspension. Is there something to ask about this person's qualifications that would
Well, I'm going to mention this real quick, my kind of steps that I recommend. First, talk to your friends with similar cars, and who do they go to? Are they happy? Next, go online, check their reviews. If they got very low reviews and you read through the reviews and it's not good, there's going to be some bad ones, because you work on cars. Not all of them is going to be perfect, but check the reviews, get a general idea of that. Then visit the shop. You may even have a different car. You can say, hey, I'm going to have the oil changed on this. See if you could communicate with them, see if the equipment looks good, the shop looks clean, and then ask them about the equipment and say, hey, I got this car, it's doing this. Would you be able to test it? And that would be the steps I would go through on finding the shop that's right for you.
Okay. All right.
There's people that can either tell you, hey, this thing's got a wiring harness and it needs this replaced, or this wire, because it's kind of like it's cut and dried. You put the numbers in a calculator and a certain number is going to come out. Right. The same way with a car. So it's just a matter of finding out what inputs and outputs are and saying this is what it needs.
Okay.
Okay. Great call, man.
Thank you.
And good luck. And I hope you're able to get that car repaired pretty quick. All right.
Yeah, me too.